Derivation of the formula for value of a bond. Let Vn equals value of the bond n periods before redemption. F equals par value of the bond. C equals amount paid to the bondholder at maturity of the bond, which is usually equal to F. N equals number of periods prior to redemption. R equals rate of the interest on the bond per period. I equals actual rate of interest on the amount invested in the bond, usually called yield. So, this is the graphical representation of bond value. The present value of n such payments is FR times P over A, I, N. And the single payment C at the maturity date of the bond has a present value of C times P over F, I, N. The present value of the bond is therefore Vn equals C times P over F, I, N plus FR times P over A, I, N. So, gibungkag ang functional notation, mahimo siyang Vn equals C over 1 plus I raised to the power of n plus Fr times 1 plus I raised to the power of n minus 1 over 1 times I times 1 plus I raised to the power of n. So, sample problem on amortization of an interest-bearing debt. A debt 100,000 pesos is to be discharged by 10 semi-annual payments. The first to be made 6 months later, the loan is given. The debt will be discharged by 5 equal payments, each 10,000 pesos, and by 5 other equal payments of such amount that the final payment will liquidate the debt. If interest is 12% compounded semi-annually, what is the amount of the last 5 payments? Construct an amortization schedule. So, ano siya ang cash flow diagram. So, as we can see, ang naadere kay ang principal is 100,000, na siya 10 periods, and sa 5 equal payments kay na siya 10,000 each. So, ang formula is P equals A times P over A, I, N. So, atoan na siyang bungkagon ang functional notation. So, natay ang principal niya is 100,000 equals ang annuity is 10,000 times P over A, 6%. 6% kay ang gipangita man dire is ang ingon dire if interest is 12% compounded semi-annually. So semi-annually man siya nga na siya 12%, so ang 12 i-divide sa 2 na siya 6. So mo to siyang 6%, and ang 5 kay ang kuan man dire ang ipangita kay what is the amount of the last 5 payments. So ang plus M times P over A equals 6%, 5 times 1 plus I raised to the power of 5. So, mahimo siyang 100,000 pesos equals 10,000 pesos times 1 plus I raised to the power of n minus 1 over 1 plus I raised to the power of n times I plus m times 1 plus I raised to the power of n minus 1 over 1 plus I raised to the power of n times I. Then, times 1 plus I raised to the power of negative 5. So, nahimo na siyang 100,000 pesos equals 10,000 pesos times 1 plus 0.06 raised to the power of 5 minus 1 over 1 plus 0.06 raised to the power of 5 times 0.06 plus m times 1 plus 0.06 raised to the power of 5 minus 1 over 1 plus 0.06 raised to the power of 5 times 0.06. And then times 1 plus 0.06 raised to the power of 5. And then 100,000 pesos equals 10,000 pesos times 4.212363,786 plus m times 4.212363,786 times 1.06 raised to the power of negative 5. So, ang makuha dire is 100,000 equals, kay ang 10,000 i-times man aning 4.212363,786, mahimo siyang 42,123.64 plus m times 3.1477237. So, inig i-shift solve na ninyo or inyuhan ni siyang banaon og pag-solve, makuha ninyo ang m equals 18,386.74. So, mao ni na siya ang amount of the last 5 payments. So, mao ni ang amortization schedule. Na siya 10 periods, tapos principal at the beginning of periods, interest earned at 6%, payment at the end of period, payment to principal. So, the principal at the beginning of the first period is 100,000 pesos, which will earn interest equal to 6%. So, 100,000 pesos times 6% is 6,000. The amount available for repayment of principal is 10,000, i-minus mo sa 6,000, and you will get 4,000 for the payment to principal. At the beginning of the second quarter, the outstanding principal is 96,000, which will earn interest of 5,760 pesos. And the payment to principal is ang 10,000 minus nimo sa 5,760, and which you will have the payment to principal of 4,240 pesos, and so on. But inig-abot nimo sa ika-6th period, ang imuhang outstanding principal is 77,451.63, which will earn a 6%. So, ang imuhang 77,451.63 i-times nimo sa 6%, and you will have a 4,647.10. And since diri man to magsugod ang katong amount of the last 5 payments na compounded semi-annually, which is the total of 18,386.74, imo siyang i-minus sa 4,647.10, and you will have the payment of principal 13,739.64. And so on, hangtod maabot ka og ika-10th period. And the total of the principal at the beginning of period is 698,894.82, and interest earned at 6%, ang total niya is 41,933.70, and payment at the end of period is total of 141,933.70 pesos, and payment of principal, which is the total of 100,000 pesos.
So for this one, a sample problem on amortization of bonded debts. A corporation sells 100,000 pesos worth of 10-year callable bonds in 500 pesos denomination, which are to be redeemed in 10 annual payments as nearly equal as possible. The bond rate is 8% compounded annually. Prepare an amortization schedule. So given future worth 100,000 pesos, the N 10 years, I 0.08. So the number of bonds, i-divide siya sa 500 pesos, which equates to 200. The formula which will be used is, na-discuss ni siya sa reporter katong A equals F A over P, I, N, which will be 100,000 times 0.1490299 is equals to 14,902.95. Muna siya ang step-by-step solution. A is equals to F A over F, I, N. Muna ni ang formula. So, ang answer, 14,902.95. At the end of the first year, the interest is 100,000. I-times siya sa interest rate, which is 8%, which is equals to 8,000. The amount available for bond retirement is 14,902.95. I-minus siya atong interest nimo, which is 8,000. May mo na siyang 6,902.95, which can redeem 13.8 bonds or approximately 14 bonds. So there are now 200 minus 14 is equals to 186 bonds, still to be retired, equivalent to a debt of 93,000 multiplied by the interest rate is equals to 7,440. The amount available for bonds is 14,902.25. I-minus siya sa 7,440. May muna lang siyang 7,462.95. This can retire 15 bonds and so on. Muna siya ang amortization schedule. Okay. For the next example, sample problem on bond value. A bond with a par value of 1,000 pesos and with a bond rate of 10% payable annually is sold now for 1,080 pesos. If the yield is to be 12%, how much should the redemption price be at the end of 8 years? Given future worth 1,000 pesos, V sub n is equals to 1,080. The rate is 10%. The interest 12%, N is 8. So ang C is pangitaon pa siya. So ang formula na gamiton kay katong V sub n is equals to C over 1 plus I quantity to the power of n plus FR 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1 over I times 1 plus I to the power of n. So equals, ang answer ni is equals to 1,444.07. And that will be all for this topic. I hope na namoy nasabtan. Thank you and God bless.